Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to have probability. Before we start our lesson, we have to know how to convert fractions and decimals to percents. Okay, percents means per hundred or out of 100. Express each fraction as decimal, then as a percent. Here 9 over 50. How to convert 9 over 50 into percent? Okay, here the denominator, I want to make the denominator here equals to 100. 50 times 2 equals to 100. So when I multiply here by 2, I have to multiply the numerator also Marwan times 2. Okay, here times 2, this is the steps. These are the steps, okay? Janned, the steps I know. Here 50 times 2 equals 100. And then 9 times 2 equals 18. So I have here 18 over 100. So 18 over 100, 1800th means 0.18 Abdurrahman. Why? I move here two movements, 1, 2, and then I move there 1, 2. So the answer will be 0.18 or 18%. Okay, now quarter, 1/4. Okay, I multiply 4 times what to give me 100 times 25. So 4 times 25 equals 100. What I multiply here in the denominator, I multiply here in the numerator. So 1 times 25 will give me 100, 4 times 25 will give me 100, and in the numerator, Ali, 1 times 25 will give me 25. So the answer will be 25 hundredth. So it will be equal 0.25 or 25%. When you cannot write an equivalent fraction, use a calculator to divide. But here we can't use the calculator in the American system, yeah? Okay. Here check 0.1, 0.01, 0.24, 0.6. Okay, you can check this by yourself. Okay. First, I want to know what is probability. I will give you a brief explanation of probability with examples of different probability values, simple probability formula, a simple mathematical formula for determining a probability for a single event, mutually exclusive outcomes. This is another lesson. We are going to have mutually exclusive outcomes, or outcomes that can't both happen simultaneously. Okay, let's start. Okay, here what is probability? Probability is a measurement of how likely it's the something will happen. Okay, okay, here probabilities are numbers between 0 and 1 inclusive, between 0 and 1 inclusive. An event which couldn't possibly happen, has a probability of 0. An event, focus with me, we have an event can't happen, we donated by 0. The probability then is 0. An event which is guaranteed sure to happen has a probability of 1. An event which could happen but which is not guaranteed to happen has a probability somewhere between 0 and 1, a fraction. Okay, maybe or maybe not, so it's between 0 and 1, but not including either of those numbers. It means not 0 or 1. If an event's probability is close to 0, it's unlikely to happen. If an event probability is close to 1, it's likely to happen. If an event is equally likely to happen or not happen, its probability is 0.5 or half. Okay, it's clear now? Here are some examples of different probabilities. Note that in some of these words, random or randomly is used. Randomly basically means without any planning. Randomly means without any planning, knowledge, or strategy, right? Randomly. For example, if I am playing rock, paper, scissors with you, if I'm playing a rock, paper, scissors with you, and you choose to always pick rock, or if you choose to alternate in sequence, you are using a strategy. If you can read my mind to know which I'll pick, you are using knowledge. Okay? Okay, zero probability, we start with here zero probability. Okay, suppose you have $8. I have a $5 bill, a $10 bill, and a $1 bill. I blindfold you and ask you to randomly pick a bill. What is the probability that you will now have $10? Okay, the only way you could have $10 is if you took a $2 bill from me. Yeah, the only way you could have $10 is if you took $2 bill from me. Since I didn't have a $2 bill, that's not possible. Since the event is not possible, the probability is 0. Okay, and I will give you another example for zero probability, that the sun rises at night. This is zero probability, right? Okay. Okay, low probability, I will give you an example. If low probability that the rain happens in summer, low probability. Okay, here suppose I'm holding a jar which contains 1,000 green jelly beans and just one yellow jelly bean. I blindfold you and then ask you to pick a jelly bean randomly. Is the probability of you getting the yellow jelly bean going to be closer to 0 or to be 1? It will be closer to 0, of course, Marwan. Why? With so many green jelly beans in the jar, it seems very likely that you would pick one of those instead of the yellow one, Farah. Probability example. Okay. I flip a coin. What is the probability that it will come up heads? You know the coin? I have heads and tails. So, what's the probability that it will come up heads? We generally say that the coin is fair, which means it's equally likely to land on either side. Since the event is equally likely to happen or not happen, it has 0.5 probability. This means half of happening, half probability of happening, half to be tail or half to be head. High probability example. Suppose I'm holding a hat which contains all the letters from A to Z, and I ask you to pick one of them. Is the probability that you will get a constant closer to 1 or closer to 0? There are far more consonants than vowels. Excuse me. So you're likely to get a consonant. Thus, the probability is closer to 1. Okay. In the scenario below, state whether the probability of 0, 1, 0.5 unlikely closer to 0 than 1 or likely closer to 0 than 0. Assume that each scenario is random. Okay, we can skip this. Okay, I'll give you how to solve probability. How to solve probability now. Okay, it's clear now. What is the probability of the spinner landing on a 3? We have here how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 parts. Okay, here 3 will be 1 over 6. 1 over 6. Here 1 out of 6. What's the probability of the spinner landing on a 3 spinner? This is the spinner, Julie. Okay, when it lands on 3, so it will be 1 out of 6, right? What's the probability of the spinner landing on 1? I have here how many ones? How many parts donated on it? 1 part, 2 parts. So I have 2 over the total parts. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So it will be 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6, right? Okay, 2 over 6. And I can then simplify it to be 1 over 3. Muhammad Rifat, yeah. What's the probability of the spinner landing on a 2? Here I have how many parts of 2? Just 1 part. So the answer will be 1 out of the total 6. Are you more likely to spin or add number or an even number? Yeah. Explain. The probability is the same because there are 3 odd numbers and 3 even numbers. I have here 3 odd numbers, 1, 1 and 3, they are odd numbers, and I have here 3 even numbers which are 4, 4 and 2. Okay, so the probability of having odd numbers equals to the probability of having even numbers. What's the probability of the spinner landing on red? I have here 2 reds and the total here 4. Then the answer is very easy, 2 out of 4. What is the probability of the spinner landing on orange? Then 1 over 4, 1 out of 4. What's the probability of the spinner landing on a primary color? Primary color. So I have here how many primary colors? 3. Red, blue and orange, they are primary colors. So the answer will be 3 out of 4. Mike said you have a 50-50 chance of spinning red. 50-50 means 50%. Explain what he means. Yeah, he means that there is a 50% chance or 1 out of 2, half, it means half of the spinner landing on red.